Hello, my name is Jimmy and this is the 9th generation Mercedes S-Class. For 2022, Mercedes has completely revamped the S-Class. This is the pinnacle of Mercedes. It has every single feature available from the brand to keep you comfortable and safe. They even put airbags in the back of the front seats so that the rear occupants won't hit their heads on the backrest. And there's plenty more. So let me go through the things you need to know. The 9th generation S-Class comes in 3 different flavors here in Canada. You get the base S500, that is a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6 with EQ boost as well as an electric compressor. But that's not what we have here. This is the S580, kind of the mid-range. It has a twin turbo V8 under the hood and it only comes with the longer wheelbase. In fact, this is 6 inches longer than the S500. But if you're feeling like this is just not long enough, not luxurious enough, well, Mercedes has you covered with the Maybach S580, and that's 14.6 inches longer than the S500. But let's talk about this specific vehicle. At 166,650 Canadian dollars, which means it has $26,750 worth of options, you might think, wow, that's a whole Honda Civic worth of option, and that must be pretty specced out. Well, you'll be actually wrong, because you can add a whole bunch more. In fact, I played around with the configurator, and for just the S580, you can tack on another $35,730. That's a whole Honda Accord there. So if you're keeping track, you can get a fully specced out S580 or a base S580, a Honda Civic, as well as a Honda Accord for the same price. So yeah, definitely for the top 1%, but let's take a look at this vehicle a little bit more in depth. Let's start with the looks here. Some say it's sedated. The front end is very distinctive Mercedes. Of course, you got that 3-point star on the hood, the massive grille that hides a bunch of radars and sensors, the multi-beam LED headlamps off to the side, and a very clean lower grille. For those who want a little bit more out of their headlamps, you can opt for a $2,300 option, the digital light headlamp. That uses 84 high-performance LEDs to illuminate quite literally everything on the road. It even has something called Ultra Range High Beam. Come on, who doesn't want that? Off to the side here, we got some 20-inch wheels on some winter tires. You can get 21-inch wheels. However, if you get the 21-inch wheel option, you can't get the rear wheel steering, at least not the maximum, the 10 degrees, only the 4.5. Unfortunately, on this one, it's not spec'd with either, so I can't speak to how it works and how good it actually is, but considering how long this vehicle is, rear wheel steering will be good. Definitely a welcome addition. I also really like these door handles. They pop out when you're close by and closes back when you lock the doors. Obviously, we have soft closed doors and acoustic glass to keep the cabin nice and quiet. And then out back, we have these beautiful LED taillights. They look all red, but when you lock the vehicle, you can see they're amber there. Absolutely beautiful. The amount of detail that's within the taillights is astonishing. And then of course on the bottom, we do have dual exhaust outlets. I mean, it's an S-Class. Should it even have that? Should it just be cleaner? You let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, hit the like button, subscribe. It definitely helps me out a lot. But let's take a quick peek at the trunk here. The S580, I mean, it's designed to carry people inside, but the trunk itself is still quite large. At 12.9 cubic feet, it's more than sufficient to carry a few bodies. I mean, luggage, stuff, and other things in here. And you have a pass-through in the center for longer items like skis. Anyways, let's go to the inside. Gotta love soft closed doors. They elevate the experience. You got a big moonroof above, beautiful LED lighting around, big windows off to the side with, of course, sunshades, and you don't have to manually operate them. There's a little switch on the side here to control that. And of course, you got one in the back as well. You got this beautiful center console for some USB charge points and more USB charge points in the center. And of course, you got a tablet in the center to control more of the vehicle's like climate control and the audio system and whatnot. Unfortunately, this specific S-Class, like I said, there's still a whole Accord level, an Accord priced level of options you can stack on top, which means, unfortunately, I don't get the screens in front, and I don't get the button where I can like fully lounge out the rear seats with the little like knee rest or ankle rest that's on the front. I mean, I'll be honest, it's still superbly comfortable back here. These pillows are great. They're absolutely just terrific. And of course, I do have massaging seats. I have cooled seats and heated seats back here to keep me quite comfortable. The only thing is, I don't have a driver. But before I get to the front seat, I do want to talk about child seats in the rear. If you are thinking of putting child seats in the rear, you certainly can. You do have lower anchors and they're very easily accessible, and there's upper anchors behind the headrests. But if you are going to be putting child seats in here, if you have the airbag equipped seats, do turn off the rear airbags. You find that within the infotainment under settings, vehicle occupant protection, and then you'll see two toggle switches there to turn off the rear airbags. And you can control them separately. So if you're having a child seat on one side, you don't necessarily have to turn it off for the other. Something you certainly should do. Something to note, at the time of filming, car seat manufacturers have not approved the Mercedes belt bag for use with child restraints. You will have to use the lower anchors to tighten the child seats to the vehicle. And with that, there are restrictions as well. In any case, let's go to the front because, let's be honest, there's a lot more toys up there. All right, the front seats. They're super soft. They are super comfortable. They're heated, they're cool, they're massaging, and they have a pillow for you. I mean, how could you go wrong with everything that this seat offers? It's just a great experience sitting in this vehicle. In front of me, I do have Mercedes updated steering wheel here. I got wood on the outside, leather on the inside here. Of course, it's heated as well. You got all these touch buttons on here, which personally I'm not a big fan of, but I'm sure over time you'll get used to it, then it's not that bad. But you know, when you first get into it, it's a little bit clumsy to use. Behind that, of course, there's a fully digital display. It's absolutely beautiful. And when you press the home button here, you can change the way that it looks. There's an exclusive mode, which I personally like. There's a sport, understated, classic, which looks like classic Mercedes dials. They don't look that great. You can have a full map if you want, assistance. Like, you can really change it to kind of, you know, what you want to see in that display. Personally, I think this view, this exclusive view, is the best one. It just looks the cleanest to me. Above that, of course, there's a heads-up display, and that shows you a lot of the different information that you may need, including like navigational information as well. Infotainment-wise, well, it's a mixed bag. Of course, it's a full tablet system. It's kind of a square design. There is a little home button here with a fingerprint reader. But of course, the infotainment does everything that you need. You got your climate control in there, like all your apps. There's wireless CarPlay. The only thing is you do have to dive into a few different menus just to get to where you really need. But of course, you can use, "Hey Mercedes, activate my massaging seats." When you say it in a sentence, it doesn't work. "Hey Mercedes, activate my massaging seats."
I'm switching on the massage for you.
Thank you. It just works.
You're welcome.
Some may complain that there's no like dedicated volume knob, but let's be honest, this slider actually works pretty well, and you have one on the steering wheel as well to, you know, do everything that you need. Overall, this cabin, it's absolutely beautiful. The headliner is this soft suede. You got leather on the sills here. You got this beautiful wood on the inlay on the dash. This tablet, the center console, the leather that's in the center, the seats, the carpet. There's not a place within this cabin that feels cheap. I mean, really shouldn't feel cheap considering how much you're paying, but they did really good work here. Even the switches for your gear selector and your windshield wipers, they're distinctive S-Class. It's a bespoke piece. This is not the same as the other Mercedes models. And that's really what you're paying for. You're getting something that, well, no other Mercedes couldn't give you. It's an upscale experience like no other. Let's see how the, well, driving and comfort of this vehicle is while we're on the road. Is that an S-Class experience? Let's take a look. All right, well, this is just an S580 and there's no AMG badge out back. There's still a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 underneath that hood. 496 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, which means we should launch it just to see. That's a lot of mass moving forward. And actually, in turns, it's surprisingly good. When you put it into Sport or Sport Plus mode, well, the suspension, it firms up, everything tightens up, and it feels, well, smaller than it actually is. Oh, the amount of power, though, is astonishing. And it's basically everywhere. Right now, just cruising, you can just floor it. And it really puts you back in your seat. I mean, let's be honest, this is a luxury car first, not a sports car by any means, but Mercedes didn't hold back. They still injected a lot of that AMG DNA deep within the system itself. Just put it on Sport Plus and yeah, it definitely will surprise you. But let's talk about how it normally drives. Let's put it onto comfort and enjoy a relaxation type drive as you have your massaging seats on and just everyday traffic. It's so quiet in here. It's so quiet that you think that the engine isn't working. It's like, is this an electric vehicle? But, you know, you put your foot down a little bit. And there's a small reminder to tell you it's not. But even in comfort, or actually mostly in comfort mode, in sport, you actually feel the bumps a little bit. It's definitely not uncomfortable by any means. But in comfort, oh wow. It absorbs absolutely everything on the road. It's just so comfortable in here. You just forget about everything else that's out there. You're so secluded within this cabin. It feels absolutely amazing. Of course, the seats, they kind of bolster you in corners, so when you're going around a bend, you're held within the seat itself. You don't have to think about much. And in terms of safety, Mercedes has you covered from front to back. You got collision mitigation braking, radar guided cruise control, and the cruise control works really well. It's able to spot a lot of things, keep you within your lane, all the good stuff that you would think. Of course, this has it. And what else? It's able to detect a side collision where it lifts the body up so that, well, it takes a little bit more of that brunt throughout the entire chassis. It's super smart, and I mean, if you really want to keep your family safe, this is definitely one of those cars to have your family in. That's why I got the child seat right in the center. Perfect place for them. When you're not driving like a complete idiot, in the city you can get 16 miles per gallon. On the highway, that's 25. So it's not too bad. But of course, it's definitely not as good as the inline 6. So if you want something a little bit more efficient, S500 might be something that you can consider. In other markets, I know there's a turbo diesel as well, but unfortunately here, diesel just doesn't work in North America. But, I mean, if you really want something more efficient, you technically can go for the EQS, can't you? I mean, it's the electric version of the S-Class. It's completely different, absolutely. But this, well, it's kind of like the last hurrah for the S-Class. I'm sure this is probably like the last generation before everything goes electric. And I mean, this is a great send-off because everything that you get, the engine, it's just an amazing place to be. It really is. All in all, the S-Class is exactly what you expect. It's a luxurious, quiet, safe, and surprisingly quick vehicle. And it weighs 4,800 pounds. That's about 1.5 Civics if you're still counting. If you're looking for your next luxurious limo, but you quite aren't ready to go full electric into the EQS, the S-Class will fulfill everything that you're looking for. Sure, it's definitely no Rolls Royce, but you don't have to spend 4 times as much to get an S-Class, or about 23 Honda Civics. I really like the Civic to luxurious car kind of comparison. It really puts in perspective what you can buy instead. 23 Civics versus 1 Rolls Royce. Like, you can have a Rolls Royce or an entire fleet of vehicles. It's kind of crazy. In either case, let me know what your thoughts are on the S-Class in the comment section down below, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day and take care.